Well, good Friday afternoon, everyone. We're here with an update regarding the potential for ice this weekend as things are becoming clear as far as the forecast is concerned. So I'm not going to be able to answer questions today, unfortunately, because we are restricted on how much time that we have because other things are happening here at the TV station. But I did still want to jump on here and give you an update on the forecast. So we'll go ahead and look at temperatures out there today. You can see that we're around 40 degrees for Watertown and Fort Drum. The area that I've been watching is around Clayton and Kingston because it is just slightly cooler there than what the computer models were showing it would be today. It was showing that it'd probably be in the upper 30s, but they're still hanging out there in the mid 30s. And that is an important detail when we're looking at the forecast for icing to take place. Yeah, it's still above freezing, and you're not going to see icing at 35 degrees. But like I said, it's an important thing to look at because that could have significant impacts as we go throughout our forecasted period here. The next thing is, this is going to be a classic setup for the potential for significant icing to take place. So temperatures on Saturday morning, 8:30 in the morning, you can see mid-20s for the St. Lawrence River there in northern St. Lawrence County, and then 59 degrees for Elmira. Watch what happens as we get to Saturday afternoon, though. A stalled out front allows temperatures in the southern tier to reach the 70s. So Elmira, Binghamton area will likely be around 70 degrees Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, along the St. Lawrence River and here in Watertown, we'll be in the 30s to the mid-20s, depending on where you are. That's a very important thing to keep in note as we have this cold air hanging on at the surface, but aloft temperatures are warm. They're going to be above freezing aloft in the atmosphere, so it's going to cause a big mixed bag of precipitation for us. And we're going to see a wide range of wintry precipitation. Everything that you can think of, we're going to see this weekend. The Messina area, in the blue area there, I'm thinking you stay primarily snow, a little bit of freezing rain on the backside of this, but you stay primarily all snow, at least as of the thinking right now. In the darker purple there, you can see the freezing rain and sleet. That's also where we're expecting the greatest of concern for significant icing to take place. Once you get to half an inch of ice, that's when things really start going downhill as far as what's happening as far as impacts and things like that. So power lines are being weighed down, trees are being weighed down as well. And you start seeing issues once you get to a quarter of an inch of ice as well. But once you get to that half an inch of ice, that's when things really start to escalate further. And then in the pink shaded area, we're talking about rain and freezing rain. So that's Watertown, Adams, and Lowville. And then to the south of us, they're going to be staying all rain the entire time. All right, so we'll go ahead and start tracking this out for you as far as the futurecast so you can see what happens. The rest of the day, we're fine. Temperatures aren't that bad. We remain mainly dry. As we get into the overnight hours, rain, snow, and freezing rain starts to move in. Here we are at 1 a.m. on Saturday. Freezing rain already occurring in Clayton and Hammond and Canton, Gouverneur. But Watertown, we're still right on the edge of that. Fort Drum, you're right on the edge of it. In Lewis County, you're fine for the most part. But it's snowing in northern St. Lawrence County, like I said. That's where they're expecting more snow than anything. 7 o'clock in the morning, we start seeing a break in the precipitation for some locations, but still showers are out there, and we're still seeing freezing rain. So 31 degrees for Watertown, 31 degrees for Drum, 29 for Clayton. The greatest area of concern is going to be north of the city of Watertown for us, but we're still tracking that very, very closely. More precipitation starts moving in by the noon hour in the form of widespread freezing rain and still some snow or sleet in northern St. Lawrence County. Ogdensburg, you're going to be right on the fringe of this on whether you see freezing rain or just all snow. So we're going to say you're going to see a mix of the two there for the city of Ogdensburg, but you can see by 6 o'clock, still heavy precipitation moving through at times, and temperatures right around 30 degrees, even in the upper 20s for some locations. Once again, though, notice northern Jefferson County into far western St. Lawrence County, temperatures stay at 30 degrees or colder, and freezing rain continues. You're not expected to pop up above freezing at all along the St. Lawrence River in northern Jefferson County and into St. Lawrence County. Freezing rain continuing as we get towards 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. But Sunday we start warming up. So we start seeing an end to the icing that's taking place before we just start seeing heavy rain moving through by the time we get towards Sunday afternoon. The freezing rain should be north of the river into Canada, so they're going to continue to see freezing rain there. But for us locally, we have started to warm up. So things start improving for us and the ice starts to melt. How much snow are we talking about? Well, the Messina area and the blue shaded area there, we're talking about 4 to 8 inches of snow. In the white shaded area, the gray area there, we're talking about 2 to 4 inches of snow. As far as ice accretion that we're expected to see here, this is what we're saying. In that whiter shaded area, which includes Clayton, Lafargeville, Cape Vincent, Theresa, Antwerp, Alexandria Bay, Hammond, Rossi, Gouverneur, Canton, DeKalb, Colton, even going out into the Adirondacks like Star Lake and Lake Placid, has the potential of seeing around half an inch of ice or more. In the purple shaded area, that does include the city of Watertown, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch of ice upwards of half an inch of ice. And then in the light shaded purple there, that does include Messina, Adams, Lowville, Star Lake. We're talking about 1/4 of an inch of ice or less. Like I said, for you in Ogdensburg, though, you're going to be on the edge of seeing a deep enough cold layer to where you see maybe snow, but we are continuing to say that you'll see probably around 1/4 of an inch to maybe half an inch of ice, depending on how much warm air aloft works up north towards Ogdensburg and Messina. So I've showed you our forecast here that we've put together. What about looking into the details, looking at some of the computer models, seeing what they're saying? Because there is the potential, according to several of the models, that we see more ice than what we're forecasting. So this is our in-house model. This is called the graph model. It is showing in that same area that I was telling you about, around half an inch or more of ice. That includes the city of Watertown, to Clayton, to Hammond, over towards Gouverneur. Those are the areas that we're expecting the worst of the icing this weekend. Looking at our GFS higher resolution model, you can see same area expecting the worst of the icing this weekend. The Clayton area over towards Hammond and Gouverneur and Alexandria Bay, as well as Cape Vincent, showing around half an inch of ice or more, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch of ice. Now we're going to show you the European model, the higher resolution European model. This right now is one of the more concerning models, as well as the NAM 3 kilometer, the HER, other models are showing this as well in the same areas. So this model, this is an outlier, folks. And this is not going to, according to the way we look at meteorology, the weather, this is probably not going to happen. But it is showing over an inch of ice for our river communities like Clayton, Alexandria Bay, over towards Hammond potentially as well, and Kingston. If that happens, that is very, very bad. You'll see widespread impacts and issues with tree damage and power lines going down, so power outages, if that happens. But I think this is going to be, even though a prolonged event, a short-lived event, because by the time we get towards Sunday, we're warming up. You can see temperatures there by Sunday at 6 o'clock in the mid-30s along the St. Lawrence River and the 60s in the southern tier. Those 60s do eventually work here closer into the North Country. By Monday afternoon, we're talking about highs getting into the 60s. 66 degrees by noon in Watertown, 65 for Lowville, 63 for Ogdensburg and Messina, If we see sunshine, it is possible that we see higher temperatures than that on Monday. So whatever icing does take place this weekend will quickly melt, which if we have issues with trees falling, any power lines, anything like that, that is good news because it will make the cleanup efforts a lot better and a lot faster for us. Going back over to our expected ice accretion, like I said, this is our forecast. Around 1/2 inch of ice or more in the wider shaded area. That includes Cape Vincent, Clayton, Gouverneur, Canton, over towards Colton. Watertown and Ogdensburg and Fort Drum, we're talking about 1/4 inch of freezing rain, maybe upwards of 1/2 inch of freezing rain. And then outside of that, 1/4 inch or less in the pink shaded area. Winter weather advisories have been issued for Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties for this. As of right now, there are no warnings. As we get closer to Saturday morning, the National Weather Service is going to continue to watch to see how things are progressing. And it is possible that by Saturday morning, we do have a warning in some portions of the North Country. I would be surprised if Jefferson County didn't end up with a warning at some point because of the consistency right now with our computer data saying that we're going to see that 1/2 inch of ice, because that is the threshold for us to have a warning for ice, is 1/2 inch of ice. We have to have that 1/2 inch for any type of warning to take place. But like I said, this is a shorter Facebook Live for us because we have a lot of stuff going on here at the TV station today, so I can't go long. I can't answer your questions, unfortunately, but we did want to at least jump on here, give you an update to the forecast. You're going to, of course, watch this back in its entirety to figure out the forecast for your location. We're also going to have another in-depth look on our website, WWNYTV.com. John Kubis will have you updated at first at 5 and 7 news this evening, and of course on our late broadcast. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back in here at the TV station to update the forecast, and we'll kind of know more on how this is playing out by early tomorrow morning when we have those updates. But of course, stay tuned to WWNY Channel 7 here as we continue to keep you updated on this important forecast throughout the weekend.